The Wednesday week is sponsored by Bentoria.com. That's BENTORIA.com.
There's a chance here, a great save. A turner from McClare. Might come. A terrific goal by Sheridan.
Brexman against Jones. Get in.
You could have two goalkeepers in there that would have trouble saving.
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday Week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. I'm James, looking after things for tonight. We have no Lord Hillsborough with us, unfortunately, but we do have an otherwise full-strength team. We have Dan Fudge.
I don't know about full strength, but I'm here. Like I'm wagging work. I'm probably going to have another job by the end of next week. So it's worth it. Just talk about the playoffs, isn't it?
Yeah, what would we do for knob gags without you, Dan? We've got Vic.
Good evening. Hello.
Hi. Now, me and Vic are here at Great Personal Sacrifice to be with you on this podcast because it is the first Eurovision semi-final taking place right now. In fact, they're probably announcing which countries have made it through to the final.
I don't want to know yet.
We'll revisit it
but
later.
I know there is another semi-final this week, but this one to me, my whole year kind of builds up to it. So I feel I'm a little bit emotional that I'm missing the rest, but I'll be okay.
We've got Eddie.
Number one, there can be no lyrics tonight because there's no Lord Hillsborough, and I only do lyrics for him. I'm sorry, James. It's not.
Oh,
not
right.
that
It's like that. Okay.
Not that I don't love you. It's just that I know that he's like a clapping seal and will appreciate even the most ridiculous and rubbish rap that I do, whereas you have good taste and therefore don't necessarily. I wonder about the Eurovision semi-finals. Do they play those over two legs?
There is another semi-final.
Yeah, there is a second semi-final, but it's a different set of countries in the second one.
Pretty much the same. I can't wait to see the Blades somehow manage to go out on penalties at some point.
What it is, Eddie, because it's a song contest, what somebody did was remix that bloke from that Vine the other day, the one that was saying, "Look around you!" Remixed it with a Euro synth beat. And, they're hoping that's going to take Azerbaijan to number one, because that's the only country they appeal to.
And also with us for the second week in a row, it's Rich Davies.
Good evening, James. I'm sorry to not step on Fudge's toes, but to interrupt your Eurovision semi this evening.
Did you start with a knob gag then, Rich?
That was knob gag, it was, yes.
I retract my prior comments about what would we do for knob gags without Dan. We've got Rich. A very ample substitute. Right, let's get down to business because we have got a football match to talk about, although, well, it didn't seem like anyone took it all that seriously, did it?
Do we really have to talk about the match on Saturday? Because that was effectively a pre-playoff friendly. There was nothing in that game that has any relevance to what is going to happen on Friday or Monday. Can we not just look at it as a, you know what? It's great to see some of those lads get a run out, and will they be able to do a job for us in the Premier League next year?
Okay, fair point. Let me ask you a different question then. Do you think Carlos was right to make 10 changes to effectively play a kind of a second string team?
Yes.
110%.
Yes.
Yep. Look at the team Brighton played. It was one of those winner-takes-all games, one that we're very rarely treated to. And Brighton went at it hell for leather. And, they'll be smarting from that defeat. And I think Eddie brought a point up last week on the podcast that never was, when we recorded one and it didn't record. He said that when Brighton come to us, bear in mind that they're going to be in a crap mood. They're going to be down. And we've got a full Hillsborough, absolutely screaming at them. And I'm excited about it. Our team are rested. There was a point last year and the year before and a couple of years prior where the international breaks used to ruin us because we'd hit a bit of form and then we'd have an international break and then we'd have to work back up to it again. But it seems that this season is that when our team have a rest, we come out all guns blazing. And I'm excited about that. I'm genuinely excited about Friday. I'm starting to believe.
That you know what, we talk about the game, the Wednesday game being irrelevant on Saturday. I think it might have been the first game the entire season where I wasn't really paying attention to it at all. I had it on Wednesday Player in the background, and I was keeping an eye on the score on my iPad. But basically, I was watching and listening to the Borough against Brighton game. And just like I said last week, what I was really praying for was heavy hit after heavy hit, and players getting injured and getting sent off, and there to be some heartbreak at the end, that whichever team came out of it not being promoted would be really gutted and downtrodden and have to get themselves up again, probably worn out and with a weakened team. And you know what? That is exactly what happened. I think in terms of who we could have had getting sent off and missing the game, Dale Stephens was pretty close to top of the list. That guy has played pretty much every game for Brighton this season. He's the absolute fulcrum. He's like the he plays the kind of Kieran Lee role for them. He's very, 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 very important to the way they play football. So him not being there is fantastic news for us. And they've just done a 300-mile journey back down to Brighton, knowing that they're not getting promoted yet, and they're going to have to come back up here and take on a resurgent Sheffield Wednesday. So I don't think the weekend realistically could have gone any better, could it?
Well, we could have won the game of football that we played. That would have made it a
Who
better
cares?
weekend.
It wasn't even a real game of football. It was just a joke.
It was a warm-up. It's fine.
I'm with you, Eddie. I just didn't even take much notice of the game at all. I spent the afternoon on the golf course, and I got the results pinging up on the phone a little bit, but I just didn't bother about it particularly. And I just, like you said, I'm so looking forward to Friday. We've got the better end of the stick, I think, with Brighton. They had to go out and go hell for leather, and we didn't on Saturday. And we've got a lot of fresh players that could really do a job on Friday night.
Yeah.
So did anyone pay any attention at all to the game on Saturday?
No.
Anyone? Not a thing.
No.
Right.
Did a line clean at work.
I got drunk in Leopold Square.
That's just normal behaviour for you,
I
that.
know, yeah, true.
Speaking of normal behaviour, I was at the match, but as ever, I can't really tell you a lot about it because it was a bit of a party atmosphere beforehand. There was a lot of beer consumed in a very short amount of time, and then there was definitely a football match. I can confirm that it happened. None of you paid any attention to it, but we did lose it 2-1, I think it was, in the end. So, from what you do know about the match, do you think there was anyone who appeared in that game that gives us any kind of selection headaches going into the playoffs?
No.
James, we're still, I don't know whether you've noticed, we're still talking about the Wolves game. Can we not talk about the Wolves game anymore? It's irrelevant. Stop it.
I'll tell you what, there are some purists sat at home listening to this going, bloody what, there's not bloody you're listening to the bloody game, what's the matter with you bloody part-timers going on here? We're going to be kicking off.
Well, Lord Hillsborough sent me a note saying you must talk about the Wolves game for the first 9 minutes of the podcast, then you can move on. So we've got another 30 seconds to do. So
at this point, James, you're basically a supply teacher. We're going to do what we want.
Oh yeah, can you bring a TV in on wheels and can we sit and watch like Mean Girls or something?
No, we used to watch a programme called Magic E, and when you think about it, that was weird. Yeah, did you know you used to have that orange and black floating thing that used to turn wind into wine?
Yes.
Because he had Magic E. Like, and I thought that was Ebenezer Good. He's a good. I'm thinking, Christ, people wonder why dance music is in the 90s. That's what we were listening to as kids.
I tell you what, there is one thing from the Wolves game that I do think we do need to talk about, and that
God's sake, James!
And that
Are
is.
you sure?
Yeah.
Are you absolutely sure?
Yeah.
Someone throw a pencil case at his head.
You'll get detention for that, young lady, if you carry on like that.
Oh.
And that is at full time a rather tearful Jose Semedo appearing to kind of his sort of farewell, waving his goodbye, and then I don't know if you saw the interview with him afterwards, where again he seemed a little emotional. Do we reckon that's it? Do we reckon we've seen the last of Jose in a Wednesday shirt?
I'd love to say that he'd come back next season in a coaching role, but he's not old enough yet, is he? He needs to go off and go somewhere else, let's be honest, Rotherham, and get a couple of years left, and then come back to us later on and do something special on the coaching side of things. It's really, really sad because we've said before, you can't buy loyalty in football, and he has been so loyal, and he's been there since League One and got us up and then brought us to where we are now. But is he really going to play again for us?
There has been quite a few examples of young, players whose careers end prematurely, going into coaching early and making a real good go of it. Your man at MK Dons, what's he called?
Carl Robinson.
Carl Robinson, there you go. He was about 21, wasn't he? He got let out of the academy and went immediately into coaching. So, what I'd like to see would be Jose and Reader Johnson, who of course has been released by Coventry today. Why can't we get them back and actually have them as like the hype men? They could come out like full-on Flavor Flav style, alarm clock on a big chain, come out, pump the crowd up, go back into the dressing room, pump the team up. They come out, they've got honorary squad numbers, and they can basically be the heart and soul of Sheffield Wednesday from now until the day they shuffle off this mortal coil, because those two boys have got so much passion for Sheffield Wednesday. How can we ever let them go anywhere else? As Jose says, this is my club. This is my club. I love this.
And then he'll listen to a racist podcast and he'll move to Rotherham.
Yeah, they're going to rather. And that's the be as a bloody club, isn't it? For me, it was ironically against Brighton. Now, this game will shine up for some of you guys as Jay Bothroyd and Barkley's debut for us. I don't know if you remember a couple of years ago. And I think we just gone up, actually. It was our first season and we got absolutely bloody spanked. And it was then for me, and it's head over heart on this one. It was then for me that I thought, Semedo's, he's not got long left playing the game. You know what I mean? And the fact he's managed to nail it out for 2 years, then fair play to him. However, he is a great ambassador for the club. He does love the club. I do love him. Don't get me wrong, yada, yada, yada. But, there's been better players in that role at that club for 2 years now. And, well, come on. I mean, Ramirez at Chelsea managed to get a 4-year contract on the back of scoring 1 goal against Barcelona. You know what I mean? What? Because he celebrated in a way with Chris O'Grady. All of a sudden, we have to give him another 2-year contract. I appreciate I'm playing devil's advocate here, but come on. I know, but bloody hell, it's money we could have spent somewhere else.
No, spend it. I don't care if it means that we don't get a player that we actually really need. I dream of having one of those players like every club used to have, and now very few clubs have. You're one club man, and I know that neither of those boys are one club men. But if we can keep them for another 30 to 40 years, make them work for it. Give them a paper round. But we'll make him do, at the very least, what Hursty does, glad hand in the 1867 or whatever.
Just wheel him out. Just going to turn into the Sheffield Wednesday equivalent of Paul McCartney at Royal Do.
100%.
Just throw him out. Come on, wheel him out.
Just keep him round. That's all I'm saying. Is because I know one day my kids are going to want to show their kids the heroes that they had growing up. And God knows, it's embarrassing enough when I take Tom to meet Hursty, and he's like, Dad, you said he was the most exciting and powerful and athletic striker in football, and now look at him. What I want is for Tom to have to feel that same thing, where he's like, he was the most tenacious midfield general that we ever had. And then he goes up to the 1867, and there's Jose there, with a walking stick, and he's grey, and he's bent, and he's old. I don't really know where I'm going with this.
Why is he bent? Why is he bent to look like Pork Pie from Desmond?
Target reference, Fudge, but I love that. Yeah, anyway, yeah.
My concern about that is, Eddie, that I'm not your kid's hero, to be fair. I mean, I'm pretty sure I bought my bag of crisps once.
No, mate, you're their father. You're not their hero.
Before we do move on from from Wolverhampton...
Oh, God!
While I was there, bumped into a friend of the podcast, James Kay. Now, if you remember, James joined us for a special podcast quite a few months ago. He
Possibly our best special podcast ever.
Our greatest ever podcast, full stop.
Very good. He, of course, for anyone that doesn't remember, was in the Wednesday Academy system for quite a few years, quite hotly tipped to become a successful player before kind of injuries got the better of his career. So he was there as a fan, bumped into him in the pub before the game and had a quick chat with him. So do you want to have a listen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go on then.
Here you go. It is just after 11 o'clock. We are outside the Blue Brick. It's pretty packed with Wednesday fans. Atmosphere's good. I've got a guy with me who he in the past has had painful legs for very different reasons, but right now has very, very painful looking legs. It is James Kay. How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, good. We're now going to have to explain why your legs look painful.
I have just spent the last 3 weeks in Thailand, and I do look like I've got some kind of infectious disease.
There is some serious peeling going on.
But it is just peel, and that's why I've worn a t-shirt and not a vest, because my shoulders are equally as bad as my shins, so I've left them covered up.
So how long have you been in Thailand for?
3 weeks.
So you missed the Cardiff game?
I did, unfortunately, but I did manage to stream it on my iPad. So it was, they are 6 hours in front, so I've had to stay up till, well, I was up at 9 o'clock at night watching this game. I've got it on my iPad in my hotel room. Missus is fast asleep, and I'm watching this game, and I'm saying to her all day, I can't wait for this game tonight. If we win, we've got the playoffs. And she's like, oh, right, whatever, I'm in Thailand, I'm not bothered. And I'm like, right. So the first goal went in, and I cheered, and I did wake her up, and I got a little elbow. She's like, shut up! Anyway, the second and third goal go in, and you've got to try and imagine trying to celebrate silent that we've just made the playoffs while you're watching on a 12-inch iPad when you know you should be at Hillsborough. It's tough. It's tough.
There's a bit of like, yay, jumping up and down going on.
I couldn't even jump. I'm on the bed and I'm just like, just shaking my hands as fast as I can, but trying not to wake anybody up and be as loud. But at the full-time whistle, that was it. I was up.
Today is your celebration day then? You're going to enjoy today?
Very much so, yeah. I've got tickets for next week already sorted, but whilst I was on holiday, I got a text from somebody at work and they said, I've got your ticket for Wolves, train's booked, you land at 12 and the train's at 8:15. But I didn't mind. Not one bit.
A little lacking on sleep today.
I think I was up at about 4:30 this morning.
Wow.
Just can't get into like scope with the sleep. But yeah, 4:30. Did a bit of washing, had a drink, and then I was ready for Wolves away.
At least if you're going to have jet lag, you might as well have it for a football match.
That's it, yeah. And I've got Sunday to sleep. I'm not going to watch Wednesday on Sunday, am I? So I definitely had to come.
So obviously you don't catch very many matches. Obviously you playing for Goal and everything. So how are you feeling about today? Are you looking forward to seeing the team play?
I am. I'm really looking forward to it. I do hope that we go in not making too many changes. I think momentum going into playoffs is going to be massive because obviously we play Brighton or Middlesbrough. Yep. Whoever loses today, they are going to be lower than a snake's belly. They've just lost out on £180 million of money for the Premier League, so they are going to be quite low. And we need to make sure that we're going into that game as confident as possible. And if that's by having the 7 or 8 players who are going to start next week, then I do hope that happens. But then again, on the flip side, I also understand that he wants to keep players fresh and raring to go for next week. So I think it'll be a mixture today. I think it'll be 5 or 6 who will play and 5 or 6 who may not.
Right, put you on the spot. Do you think we're going to do it? Playoffs?
I really don't know. I do think we'll get to Wembley because I think that the pressure at Hillsborough for any team is too much. In front of 36,000, proven against Arsenal, they couldn't handle it. So I do think that the home leg in the playoffs will be crucial. But I do think we'll get a good enough victory there to be able to go away and put up a good defensive display. So I do think we'll get to Wembley, and then it's anybody's game.
All right, so a word about you, because you were telling us a story about how you got a new manager, but it's turned out quite well for you.
Yeah, so the goal manager got sacked just after Christmas, and we got an ex-Blade come in, Lee Morris. But to be fair to the guy, he's come in, we've got on really, really well, and after the first training session, I got a call just saying, Will you be my assistant? Will you be a coach? And obviously I jumped at the chance. I've always been a senior player there, so when he offered me that opportunity, I went, yeah, definitely. And we've got on really, really well. We've stayed up, which was the main aim, and look to build on next season. So yeah, playing, coaching, mixing them both together, and then getting to Hillsborough when I can.
So you think is coaching your future? Is that where you see yourself?
Yeah, I'd love to. I will play as long as I can. I still keep getting every Saturday I'll get a text off my dad at 1 o'clock saying, "Are you playing?" And then I'll text back saying, "Not today, sorry," or "Yeah, actually I am." And he'll always give me a call afterwards saying, "You should have played. Why aren't you playing?" But I'm enjoying both sides of it. I love playing, but again at the same side, I'm loving coaching. I can see myself staying in coaching once I've stopped playing.
Brilliant. The rest of the guys would not forgive me if I didn't ask you for a Luke Bowden update.
So Bods is doing well. His son's doing well as well. He's just had an operation, but he's pulled through and he's fine. And Bods he has been out of the team recently. Last 3 or 4 weeks, the USA left back Brett Shea's kind of taken his place, but he's still loving it out there. Still training with Kaka and Julio Baptista every day, so it's not a bad life.
It's not a bad life at all, is it?
Not at all. And I do keep pestering him. I'm still waiting for my Orlando shirt to come through the post. But as soon as I speak to him again, I will get in touch and I'll see if we can have a word with you guys as well.
Perfect. Thank you, James.
No problem. Thank you.
So it was an absolute pleasure to meet James. First time I've met him. Great guy. He just got back from Thailand. He was the most amazing colour of any human being that I have ever seen. I can't even tell you why I didn't take a photograph. I don't know, but it was great to meet up with James. And with that, I think we can put the Wolves game to bed. Vic, does that make you happy?
Yay! Thank you.
Let's talk about the one word that's been on everyone's lips this week for one reason or another, and that is tickets. Namely, playoff tickets, either home or away. At this point, shall we just get this out of the way? Fudge, do you want to do your appeal now, and let's get it done?
I'll put my solemn, appeal, mid-morning Comedy Central advert break voice on. You know what I mean? Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, I, Dan Fudge, live in Southampton, and I live bloody miles away, and you lot keep wanting to watch the bloody football. Give me a minute. I can't get it. I can't get points. I live 300 miles away. What's the matter with you? But it'd be great if anybody did get any tickets. I'm honoured to give them to me. That'll be smashing. Dollars paid. Get me a ticket.
Did you just do a mic drop?
Mic drop chink at the end. I love it.
Brilliant.
I'd love to say I did do a Minions King Bob mic drop, but what I did was drop me can of Desperado all over the fucking mic.
I really hope it works now.
Shit house.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, this man needs your help desperately.
Just £2
in so many ways.
Keep Fudge in his Desperado
just £2 a month.
Just 620 priority points. We'll get Dan Fudge a ticket.
Yeah, I'm a bigger case than them donkeys.
Just to clarify, it is for the away game that you're after tickets.
Yeah, the away game. I live down here. Yeah.
And how many? Because it's not like you're asking for anything. 6 altogether, is it that you're asking for?
Six would be great, but two's fine. Two's fine. But what it is, what if we get a crap result at Hillsborough? You've bought them already. I'll go anyway. You know what I mean? I don't mind. It'd be nice to go. I'd love to go. Please let me go. Although, to be fair, last time I went to Brighton, there was no train back from Brighton to Southampton after 10 o'clock. And those that have been there before know that it takes a while to get to the train station, back to Brighton train station. I rocked in at 9:36 or something like that, I can't remember, or 10:36, and the last train home was 10:34. So I had to go from Brighton up into London and then back down into Southampton, where I have got not one but 2 replacement rail services on the bus, and I got home at 6:30 in the morning. Cheers for that, Southern Rail. You're mint.
You should have gone out in Brighton. There's some lovely pubs and clubs in
Brighton.
I'll do you a list. I'll do you a list for next time.
Have they got a pop world?
They haven't got a pop world. They're far too cool for school there.
So the other thing everyone's been talking about is the home tickets, because I guess everyone that's got a ticket's happy with the system. The people that haven't got a ticket want to have a moan about it. Has it been a fair system?
I think it's been fair. It's been utter carnage, though, hasn't it? Let's be honest. I think the idea... I know we've had a bad 15 years or so, right? And so the idea of logging on to the website or ringing up on the phones and experiencing a queue to get tickets for a Sheffield Wednesday game, I understand that is a little bit confusing for some Wednesday fans, because why would that happen? That just seems odd. I honestly think the club have handled it the best way that they could, with the exception of the idea that what they basically went was, okay, right, all season ticket holders, you get your seats, and everyone signs up for them. And then they said, okay, right, now all season ticket holders just have some more tickets. And everyone just went mental at that point when they were queues of about 2,000 on the website and all this sort of business. I think, correct me if I'm wrong here, write in, tweet if you think that I'm overstepping my boundaries here. I think that pretty much everyone that wants a home ticket has got a home ticket, especially now they've announced they're opening the Lep Lower and that last Super Hooley section of the North Stand. So I don't think it's a massive deal at the end of the day, but it would have been great to kind of have it planned before now, to the point where every season ticket holder got their ticket, and after that it became a bit of an open house for anyone to get involved. And it is what it is. We do only have 35,000 home tickets to sell, and we've got a lot of fair weather fans. And I don't think if you're a fair weather fan, you can complain too much. But I think the way they did it was broadly correct, but was implemented slightly mentally.
Yeah, I think Ed's absolutely right. People aren't going to be happy that they don't get tickets, but the people that are going regular, you've got to reward those people, whether they be season ticket holders or for the away leg. If you've got that 700 points and you've been away. I saw somebody complaining today that because he'd been to the Brighton game previously, he felt he was it should be the law that he got one for the Brighton game now.
Yeah, there you go. Then I'll have that. Yeah,
Fudge?
Was it me?
It could have been Fudge.
I am Southern correspondent for the Wednesday week. Why the bloody hell am I not getting tickets? But no, I agree with it. These people go in week in, week out and spend a serious amount of money. It's not cheap watching football, and I don't begrudge those people with a serious amount of points going to watch the football. I don't begrudge them it. I really don't. Fair play to them.
Right, I've got a game for you all to play now. So we know that tomorrow morning, as we speak now on Tuesday evening, tomorrow morning they are releasing the tickets for the Leppings Lane Lower and the very end of the North Stand, which is not the little corner cheese wedge, whatever people call it. It's just the final section of the North Stand, which they don't normally sell.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I presumed it was the corner.
No, that's where the skybox is going to be, isn't it? So those tickets are released at 9:00. So the game is, you need to tell me what time the club will tweet to say that all the tickets have sold out. So I need your predictions, and there is a prize for whoever is closest.
10:40.
Right.
1:31.
9:32.
9:06.
9:06 of Fudge.
I've gone with 1:31. I'm thinking that, like we said, I think the people who want them have got them.
Well, I am seeing as you've already had a guess now. I'm going to go with 10:41, which is 1 minute after Vic's prediction. So,
You twat.
I bet you're a right knob when it comes to playing Prices Right, aren't you?
I know.
You know what I mean?
That's called me a
He's done
twat.
there,
That's
innit?
double detention for you, Miss Wood.
I'm so
I'll
sorry.
see you afterwards.
Will you cane me?
Oh, no.
Whoa.
Let's just
Only
stop right
James, no one else.
His Eurovision Sammy will be getting a little bit different.
I doubt that very much.
Right, next thing for us to talk about then, it's that time of the month. We're into a new month, and that means, of course, the Player of the Month, which officially we have to call it, even though it should be Man of the Month, for April. And our official Sheffield Wednesday club vote, the winner was Alex Lopez, which I guess a month ago, none of us would have seen this one coming.
No, unbelievable. But how... I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, gang, I don't think anyone's going to speak out against me when I say absolutely deserved. The guy has been flawless, faultless in April. He has been the fulcrum for everything that we do. He hasn't put a foot wrong. He's been Sam Hutchison, but with slightly better social media Photoshop skills.
And better hair.
No.
No one's got better hair than Sammy. You take that back.
Actually, to be fair, Eddie, that was quite a decent segue. There was a poll going around on Twitter, wasn't there, about should we play Sam on Friday, or Do you want to get there yet? Have I jumped the gun?
I was going to ask that
broken
question
the agenda?
No, I was going to ask that question off the back of this because it does give us a bit of a headache, doesn't it? Certainly for Friday, because we've got to be playing a relatively attacking team. There isn't going to be room to play 2 defensive midfield players. So who's going to get the nod?
Well, I would happily go without Hutch, purely because, well, he's in form, isn't he? What's his chops? Player of the month.
Alex Lopez. Finger on the pulse, Danford.
I'm all over it. Listen, I drink a lot. You know what I mean? I've got them red things in my cheeks like sailors get now. You know what I mean? I'm getting old. But Lopez is in form. He's player of the month. You know what I mean? Why would you not play him? Hutch has come back from having glass legs. He's already retired once in his career. We don't want him retiring again. Let's
glandular fever.
blah, 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 blah. Yeah, growing pains is what I got told it were. So, Lopez for me, surely. Anybody else agree?
Well,
I think as well. I think it's the risk with Hutch, isn't it? It's the booking risk that heaven forbid if we play him, then he gets booked again, and then Lopez gets injured or something, then we are screwed. But like you said, Lopez he's won his place. I don't think it's fair to just snatch it straight back off him.
I wouldn't be so worried about the booking or that kind of risk with Hutch at all. I just think that Lopez is a man in place and he's a man in form, and you've got to carry on with him, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you have to have a reason to drop somebody and replace him with somebody else. You can't say that Lopez's performances have been even kind of filling in for Sammy Hutch. He has been at least as good as Sam Hutchinson in that role. And I think, especially with a home game, I actually think that he gives us more as an attacking threat, or he unlocks more going forward. So I can't imagine that Carlos is gonna switch things around now. If it becomes a bit of a war, it becomes a bit of a battle second leg, then yeah, I think Sam Hutchinson might be the man, because let's be honest, who cares if he gets booked in the second leg? So yeah, I think we go with Lopez first leg and let's see what happens. And if we need a little bit of extra bite in the second leg, then yeah, that might be the time to bring Sam back.
Sorry, I'm going to disagree with all of you. Because I would play Hutch. Hutch has been fit for something like 3 weeks now, and Carlos hasn't played him because he's saving him for the playoffs. And our form, although Alex Lopez has played well, and there's no doubt about that, we've not been winning that many games, and our performances have not been fantastic. And I think Hutch is such an integral part to us playing as well as we can do. When we're in really good form, Hutch is a massively important part of that. And I think if he's fit, I think we've got to play him. I think he's been a rock this season, and he's so important to the way that how the fullbacks can press forward, because Hutch will drop back and form a back three with the 2 centre halves that Lopez can't do. I just think he's so important to us. But that's I'm guessing I'm in a bit of a minority on this, but I think if he's fit, you've got to play him.
I think you make a fair point. Would you be comfortable as Carlos making that change, knowing that Hutch is anything but match fit? So he has to hit the ground running from minute one, especially given his history.
Well, we don't see what's going on in training. I don't think that Carlos would have held back playing Hutch because he's been afraid of him picking up a booking and missing the playoffs if he didn't intend for him to play some part. So he wouldn't be letting him just sit at home and not be doing anything. My guess is that he's been training pretty hard to make sure that he is up to full fitness for it. I
know one person who would be very on your side, James, that'd be Si of North Yorkshire Owls from Twitter. He self-professed actually styles his hair the same as Sam, and has also tried to get to know what product he uses for his hair as well. So I just thought I'd put that one out for Si.
You know what? That's how we do it in North Yorkshire. It's all about the hair product first and the product on the pitch second. So
am I putting two and two together here, or did Si actually ask that question into the programme then? Because Hutch answered that in his Q&A thing in the programme this season.
Did he?
He did.
He did.
It could have been in there.
And what product was it that he uses? I'll just write it down.
I think it was Brill Cream, actually.
What are you writing it down for, James? You're going to tweet it for
I
general
haven't got any
purpose,
frigging hair, have I? So it doesn't matter.
He's going to put it in his beard.
Yeah, start
Mate,
off with it.
it ain't going to make your hair look anything like Hutch's, no matter what he uses. Even if it's a Donald Trump
you guys are so lovely.
Oh, James, I like your hair.
Yeah,
I know it's hard for us to talk.
really.
It's difficult for us to talk about this because obviously we're not going to be doing another podcast before the second leg, but we don't know what the result's going to be in the first leg, so it's hard to talk about it. But let's imagine that we've got a lead, but maybe not a huge lead from the first leg to take back down to Brighton. Would there be a scenario where you'd be tempted to play Lopez and Hutchinson together and have a defensive midfield pairing for the second leg to defend that lead? Or is that too
I'm
negative?
No.
I'm Samito. And Reader.
No.
Impress me.
Yeah.
Not for me. Not for me. I think that would be nuts because you get taught from a young age you've got to try and keep the ball because without the ball the other team can't score. And our creative players in midfield, if we jettison them for shit kickers, for lack of a better word, we're not keeping the ball and passing it around. We're literally just sat there waiting for them to hit, and then what we'll find in the last 20 minutes is they're just camped in our half and we're doing absolute sweet sod all to try and break out. And there's only so long you can defend for. I may be speaking under from personal experience as getting battered this Sunday from doing just that, but I think you need your ball players to, for all intents and purposes, keep the ball away from the other team.
I think as well, I just can't imagine Carlos ever playing, not a negative way, but ever playing so defensively. I think as long as we've got the ball to our feet and we're scoring those goals in the goal, then in the net, I don't see why we need to worry.
The meat is going to be on the second leg. All of the meat. There's going to be no meat left. Every piece of meat.
It'll all be sizzling away on that fire. The goals will be in the net.
We're going to stop them scoring by piling up meat on a fire inside our 6-yard box. That's pretty much that was been the plan all season.
Now, way back when, this conversation started with us discussing Alex Lopez winning Man of the Month on the official Sheffield Wednesday website. It kind of goes without saying that obviously we also did win the PFA Man of the Month vote as well. And once again, it was Fernando Forestieri who won that, which I think is the second month in a row and either the third or fourth time that he's won it over the season. Again, despite the fact that he didn't do a massive amount, did he, during April? I'm not sure there's a huge amount for us to say about it other than well done, Fessy.
Well,
He's won a lot of awards this week, hasn't he? He's like, he needs a new cabinet. He needs to get himself to IKEA.
What about the Star Sheffield Star Football Awards that we had?
No.
It's like the Ballon d'Or of like Sheffield.
Yeah.
Can I say I was gutted not to win the award for Dom Howson lookalike of the season?
Unless there was a Get in the Sea award, you wouldn't have got that, mate.
Can we also, while we're talking about Fessy then, there was obviously the interview this week, this week, wasn't it, where he said that Mr. Chancery said that he needs to sign for 10 years and he is more than happy to finish his career at Sheffield Wednesday, which as a 26-year-old, that's like looking ahead quite a lot, don't go too over yourself. But, I mean, if he's thinking that now, he's doing exactly what we've been saying with like your Samidos and your Readers. It sounds like we've made him into a bit of a fan.
I think that comes from players like Lee Bullen being around the club, and I think that sort of advocacy for the club he exudes really well. And I think when you've got people like Lee there, that people don't want to go. I mean, it's very clear after being on this show and after turning up that Rayner Johnson would absolutely give his right testicle to put the Wednesday shirt back on again. You know what I mean? It was like watching a boxer on Sky Sports News going, I could take him. I think I could have him. You know what I mean? I reckon I could do a job against it. You get me? And you're like, no, you couldn't. You got your arse handed to you, Chisora. Stop trying to big yourself up. But I think that's testament to to the people we have in and around the club since people like Stuart Gray have done one. I've said it before on this show a number of times that we could have done that with players like Benik Afobe. Had we given them the opportunity to absorb that advocacy and absorb that that love for the club, I think that players like players of his ilk would have stayed with us. Do you know what I mean? But we've managed to get one of, well, the Football League darling by the looks of it. We've managed to get him in love with this club inside one season, and that for me, and for the rest of you lot listening, and for you guys here as fans, I think that's 60 to 70, 80% of that is down to us as well. You know.
I 100% agree with you on that one, Fudge, in terms of the mythology of the club is huge, and having the players becoming part of the family and us all feeling part of that family is a huge part of the reason why your likes of your Raider Johnsons and your Jose Semedos and your Fernando Forestieris say, this is the best part of my career. And that's absolutely fantastic. I think it's important that we disassociate that, though, with these online votes. Because let's be honest here, if it was down to online voting, then not only would Sheffield Wednesday have the PFA player of the season, the goal of the season, every single goal of the month, the player of the month, but we'd probably also have won the local elections. We'd be Eurovision defending champions, and we'd probably be fighting it out with Donald Trump for the American presidency right now. So, let's be honest. If it comes down to online, we are dominant. We dominate all, and that's fine. But I'm sure that tongue-in-cheek, even Fernando Forestieri knows. He looks at his awards for this season. And he's had 6 Player of the Month awards, 7 Goal of the Month awards, etc. He just goes, yeah, I know. That's just the Wednesday fans fucking with everybody, isn't it? And he loves it. And that's part of the reason why he's enjoying his time with the club, because he knows that there is a real family and we look after each other, even when it comes to meaningless online competitions.
There's one online poll I'd love to see. Who are more cringy online in terms of a poll? Arsenal or Sheffield Wednesday? You know what I mean? Just watch the numbers for that just go absolutely spastic. Just absolutely through the roof, like, you know what I mean? Like, who loves a good vote? The Owls or the Gunners?
Would we vote for ourselves or would we vote for each other?
I don't know. In fact, somebody should do that. Where's Lord Osborne when you need him?
Oh, no. Jeeves, we're going to need some more equipment.
Then you need to speak to Oddballs, a speciality.
What the?
Oddballs, a speciality deal in steel, food, and engineering equipment.
Where's that voice coming from?
We offer great deals on all types of equipment and can include dismantling, delivery, and erection anywhere in the world.
Did he just say erection?
We can also buy your surplus equipment or sell it on commission. With over 30 years' experience, let us achieve the best deal for you.
Where can I find out more, Voice in the Sky?
Go to www.ventoria.com.
You heard him, folks. Jeeves, get a broom.
Right, guys, you're probably going to hate me a little bit for this, but I am going to backtrack a little and just talk a little off the back of the Wolves game again. but for good reason. Because we get towards that point now where our loan players, their loans are coming to an end, and we need to decide whether or not we're going to keep them. And I'm particularly thinking here about our 2 centre halves on Saturday, Michael Turner, Vincent Sasso. So I want your opinions. Do you think that they're players that are worth us keeping?
No.
Sasso. Yes, Sasso.
Sasso, yes. Turner, no.
Right, yeah. I think it also depends what happens, doesn't it? It depends what happens by the end of this season now. It really does.
Yeah, if Vincent Sasso is horrifically injured in some sort of car crash and his face gets disfigured, we shouldn't keep him. Right now, he's still beautiful. Let's keep him. He's a beautiful man.
He's the Tommy Spur of 2016.
Yes.
Tommy Spur looked like Guy Smiley. No, Tommy Spur is not the pretty. No, I'm not having that.
All right.
No, he looked like Guy Smiley. Vincent Sasso's prettier.
What about Daniel Pudel?
Yes,
definitely.
Got to keep him.
110.
I'm not so sure he'd be a first choice left back, but I think we should keep him in the Premier League. I'm talking.
Yeah, exactly. Like we said, it all depends, doesn't it? But he's done it before, hasn't he? He's done it before. Has he played in the Premier League?
I don't know if he did play in the Premier League. He was certainly promoted to the Premier League, but I don't know if he played any games for Watford.
Listen, he's in my sticker book for the Czech Republic. There are very few Sheffield Wednesday players in that book, and on that alone, the fact that he's not credited as a Watford player, he's credited as a Sheffield Wednesday player. For me, sign him up.
Let's give him an ultimatum. If you play in the Euros, you're good enough. Get involved.
So we're saying Michael Turner, no. Vincent Sasso will keep, but just to look at. And Daniel Pudel, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. We'll keep Sasso in a little glass box next to the. If I actually know them windows outside the mega store, outside the AWOL shop, just keep him in there, just doing kick-ups or something on a match day. Just have him in there.
Just with an eye in the middle of his palm.
Shazam.
Is that it then? Is that it? Is there only 3?
We've got Joe Bennett who's on loan.
Finished, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's already gone because of his injury. I think he's back at Villa. And you would think that he's probably going to be of the right sort of standard for Villa next season in the Championship, wouldn't you? So,
Lopez is on loan.
Yeah, Lopez. He's going back to Celta Vigo, isn't he, in the summer?
He's surely done enough, hasn't he, to justify us putting an offer in?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Is this Ramirez all over again, where he scored one good goal and all of a sudden you get a 4-year contract? Is this what's happened?
And at the opposite scale, you've got McGeady, who, to be fair, hasn't really done anything, has he?
No.
Yeah. Don't be silly.
Send him back.
Get rid.
Whoa! It comes with the Euro 2016 sticker book.
Oh, he's one of the
staples. There is not one child now who doesn't own Adam Lallana and Aidan McGeady, who owns that book. You know what I mean? People now know who Aidan McGeady plays for. And again, we've got him on loan, but it says Sheffield Wednesday on there. So I think Panini knows something, with him and Poodle.
He was one of the free stickers, wasn't he? McGeady.
Yeah, comes with a book. It comes with a book. Yeah. There are 10-year-olds in schools arguing. That's it. There are 10-year-olds arguing in schools who's better, him or Superman.
Meanwhile, there was the aftermath to another game on this weekend, which was on Sunday, which was the end of the League One season, where our dear friends from across the city finished the season as they started by losing. And I'm sure now we've all seen the amazing video, haven't we, of one fan venting his frustration at full time as the players did their, I think we'd have to call it a lap of shame rather than a lap of honour at Bramall Lane. Tommy, you've all seen this video.
Can we play the audio? Can we? Surely we can get the audio for this.
We can play this out.
All right, okay. So for anyone that hasn't heard it, here it is.
Rubbish! We just tell you what we all think. Look around you. You're an embarrassment. You're an embarrassment. Look, this is what we think of you. This is what we think of you. Look around you. You're an embarrassment to the club, to the city. You're a disgrace. Look around you. Look, that's what we think of you.
My favourite part of that whole thing, what was the account that you were accused of, James, of managing? Was it Physio Atkins?
It was Physio Atkins, yeah.
Yeah, my favourite bit is as he's telling everybody to look around you. You're an embarrassment to weird pause. City. And then I don't know if you've seen the avatar that Physio Adkins uses. It's Nigel Adkins with that gormless look on his face, and he does that in that video. He just kind of saunters past doing a slow hand clap, and you think, well, somebody's nailed that beautifully, hasn't they? Somebody's picked up on a lovely pose that he does. It's absolutely wonderful. It's my favourite thing of this week. I feel like that deserves a theme tune or something.
I can't imagine the feeling of those players coming back out of the tunnel to... And this is not an exaggeration. This is not a Sheffield Wednesday fan laughing at our city rivals. This is... Legitimately, there was about 200 people left in the stadium, wasn't there? It was
Look
like...
around you.
Yeah, it was like... 3 hours after the game. It was like the only people still left were just doing like litter picking and all that sort of stuff. I've never seen anything like it. I can't even, in good conscience, laugh at it because it's beyond tragic. It is. Are they literally an embarrassment to
City!
Embarrassment. I can't think of the word. City!
It makes me giggle. Honestly, I sit there giggling with my little arms flapping like James Corden does on They Think It's All Over or whatever it is nowadays. It's called. Honestly, it makes me laugh. It's so funny.
You know what? The thing that brought it home to me, we just mentioned it, the Physio Adkins account, which on Twitter, that is a spoof account, people. Don't fall into the trap. So a spoof account. What he put on the evening of that game was, I always said that Sheffield United shouldn't be in the same division as Burton Albion. Now we're not. You can't say I've not made progress. Amazing.
The other thing from our City rivals as well was it was a sad day after the game that their what do they call him, co-chairman Jim Phipps announced his his resignation with immediate effect, which we're probably not that bothered about, but it also does mean that there will be no more Jim Quips, his Twitter account or his Twitter parody account, which unfortunately, of course, will go the same way now.
This is devastating news. This is just like when USA Soccer Guy got bought by Joe.co.uk or... You know what I mean? Oh, that's
it reminds me of when I used to have my Hoff account on Twitter, and then we let go of him, and I was really upset. The Hef thing.
Right, guys. Now we've on and off talked about the Brighton game a lot through this podcast already. Quite naturally, of course, because it's our thanks, Rich. It's our biggest game in many, many, many years, and there's no doubt about that. And we've said a lot of stuff about it, but I think what we've got to say is, the atmosphere is going to be immense. We need everyone to get behind the team. It needs to be a classic Carlos attacking formation. We need to be on it from the first minute, not from the 45th minute. But I'm going to push you guys to come up with a prediction now. So I need your predictions for the first and second legs.
I hate predictions.
Go on, Rich. You can go first then.
I really hate them. 2-0 on Friday night to us, and Monday 0-0.
Oh, Rich, that's exactly what I was going to say. That is seriously exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, I'm thinking 2 or 3-0 at Hillsborough, because I think we did a plea on this show, didn't we, to try and get the fans behind the team when we're playing Cardiff to secure the playoff spot, and they did that very, very well. And I think exactly the same will happen on Friday night. So I'm going to say 2 or 3-0. If I had to pick 1, 2, and then probably 0-0 again down at Brighton, we'll absolutely shut them out. And then we'll see Derby in the final, I think.
Yeah, you know what? I think Friday night is... I think we're all so up for it, aren't we? I honestly can't see past a Wednesday win, and I really believe. I honestly think that we could do them 3-0 on Friday night, and then go down to Brighton on Monday and suffer a 2-0 reverse and be hanging on, like desperately hanging on at the end, and then just about make it through. So, no predictions other than I'm really confident we can do it over 2 legs, and I think it'll be bolstered, it'll be anchored by a great performance on Friday night.
Vic?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think we've got to grab this, haven't we? They need to stand up Friday night, and they need to be counted, and they need to prove it. I know we've said everything from here is a bonus and whatever else, but that was last week. Now it's this week, and the game's on Friday.
Yeah, bugger that. Bugger that bit of their own nonsense. We're going for it.
It's just, it could happen, and it's so close you can almost taste it. And all they've got to do is go out.
Are we not doing
all they've got to do is go out in front of a sellout home crowd on a Friday night and beat a team that's probably travelled up on the Thursday, travelled a long way, travelled the same, further last weekend. They've got to do it, haven't they? They've just got to.
Go on then, give us a prediction.
Oh, I don't like. 2-0 Wednesday.
And second leg?
Oh, 1-0 Wednesday. Ooh.
Oh, very confident.
I know. Well, we've booked our hotel now, haven't we, sir?
So we've got to get there. I'm actually going to go exactly the same as you two guys. I'm going to say 2-0 first leg to Wednesday, and then 0-0 down there at the Amex Stadium. And yeah, we'll all be off to Wembley. We'll do a Wembley special.
Yes.
Oh, it's just scary, isn't it? That this time next week.
At this time of night, James will be asleep in a petrol station coming near you.
This time next week, we know if I need to ring up and cancel that Novotel. That's just frightening. That is, it's come round so fast now. It's just scary.
Well, I'll tell you what. This time next week, when we're sitting down to do this podcast, we're either going to be the happiest people in the world or we're going to be the saddest people in the world, aren't we? It's only seven
I'm
days
not coming
away.
on. I'm not coming on. If we've lost, I'm just going to smash lot up. I'm not coming on again.
Smash lot up.
Smash lot up. It's just been Lord H sat there playing clips of us all season going, no, I reckon we'll do it. With some piano music in background with a little bit of commentary as their players just score, you know what I mean?
Oh,
we could just do it. Just look around you. Just look around you.
you're a disgrace to this city. We are the city.
Right, before we wrap things up then for this week, Vic, you became a minor celebrity this week.
Oh, it was very exciting. I didn't say anything last podcast because I didn't know if I was allowed to, but I have checked and I'm more than allowed to, and I've been asked to. So I actually went for a drink on Friday night. Ooh.
There we go. That's the news. Vic went for a drink.
With a man. Ooh.
With a man. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Right. But it was actually Jason Dickinson. And Jason is the club historian. Brilliant, brilliant guy. He's written loads of our books. I'm sure we've all got them. And he writes the bit in the programme every week as well. And he's doing a book next year on the 150th anniversary of Sheffield Wednesday. And it's an official club book and whatever else. And I have been interviewed as a fan.
Ooh.
I know, it was so exciting. And it did actually confuse people because, like, around Hillsborough, unless you play football, it's quite exciting to see somebody being interviewed, unless you've got a muff out. And so we were sat outside the Park Hotel because it was really sunny, and people were like looking over constantly, thinking like, who is this bird? Like, why is she being interviewed about all these questions? And like, why is she like ranting about Wednesday? And that's why, folks, I was being interviewed for a book.
And when do we get to see this book then?
He's writing it up over the summer, and then it'll be out for next season. But there'll be a lot of stuff around it. It's like I said, it's an official club thing. It's going to be a pretty hefty book from what I can see so far. And I know he's interviewed, I think it's 50 fans for the fan bit. So, yes, exciting times. And I've also put him in touch with friend of the show, James Kay, to do an interview. Because I said, if you want someone else and like same age as me, speak to James. So James shall be in there as well, I hope.
Well, were we not available at the time?
Yeah. Hang on.
I hate to point this out, but I was asked for under 30s.
Racism.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
I've been in disciplinaries for less.
The Wednesday Week is proud to be associated with Cavendish Cancer Care. Cavendish is a Sheffield charity dedicated to improving the quality of life for people living with cancer. No one should face cancer alone, so Cavendish provides emotional support through counselling and complementary therapies. The services they provide are free of charge and are funded through donations. If you can help or would like to find out more information, you can go to www.cavcare.org.uk. That's CAVCARE.org.uk.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that just about brings us to a close for this week's podcast. Just thinking in 7 days' time, when we next speak, we could be in the Championship playoff final. I think we're all feeling just as nervous as each other, just as excited as each other. It's going to be a great 7 days, isn't it? It's going to be fantastic. Right then, Dan Fudge, if anyone wants to get hold of you, either for your ramblings, for your casual racism, or to offer you a ticket for Brighton, how do they do it?
Yeah, get me on at Dan Fudge. Tickets are greatly received, even if we're like 3-0 down going into the second leg. I'll still go. That'd be mint. Thanks.
And Vic?
You can find me on Twitter at Victoria1867. And I'm going to be really, really nervous and really, really antsy this week. So don't cross me until about 10 o'clock on Friday night, when hopefully we will be sailing into Monday.
And Rich?
Yes, you can get me at Dickie Owl on Twitter. And probably with Vic and everybody else, I'll be in the Riverside before the match on Friday night, probably from a very early time, as I have the afternoon off.
Yeah, well, what time are we doing, gang?
I'm aiming for 4.
Yeah, I'm going to aim for 4.
Works for me.
About
4 o'clock, James. Are you sure? Are You're going to start supping at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Asleep by 8.
I'll be asleep by 11. It'll be fine. Eddie, if people want to get hold of you, how do they do it?
Right, so you can find me in the Riverside with you lot, and I'm going to turn up this time. I don't welch on these things. We're leaving at 3:30, so we'll be there for 5 at the very latest. In any case, right, we can discuss this when we're there. Right, I'm going to give you a list: Arsenal, Hull City, Leicester City, Man City, Southampton, Stoke City, Sunderland, Swansea, Bolton, Brighton, Cardiff, Derby, Huddersfield, Middlesbrough, Millwall, Reading, Rotherham, Wigan, Chesterfield, Colchester, Coventry, Crawley, Donny Rovers, Scunny, Walsall, Yeovil, Wimbledon, Bristol Rovers, Burton Albion, Morecambe, Newport, Northampton Town, Oxford United, Shrewsbury Town and Wycombe Wanderers. All of those teams have moved grounds in the last 30 years without having a massive bloody live fireworks show on the telly to discuss it.
I genuinely thought you were going to come out with a stat as if to say all these teams have gone up in 6 from the playoffs.
No, you know what? I can't be doing any of that fuss. If we go up through the playoffs, we'll do it quietly. And we won't have a bloody fireworks display, and we won't have Sky jizzing over it on live television.
Are you kidding? I'm going to be swinging my knob around Southampton docks for about 6 hours if we go up.
Avoid Southampton docks.
Right, so anyway, at Sausage Arms on Twitter, West Ham fans, come at me, bro.
Right, you can get hold of me on Twitter at James Marriott. Of course, if you want to get hold of Lord Hillsborough in his absence, by all means, drop him a line. He's at Lord H, which is L0RD_H. You can follow the podcast on Twitter at TWWcast or find us on Facebook. And if you want to drop us an email, it's twwpodcast@gmail.com. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your company, and we'll see you in a week for a celebration.
There's a chance here.